And here we go, back at it again, heading to the hard off, this time in Kyoto and Katsura. Now, this particular store has a little bit of a sentimental value to me because it is actually the first store that I filmed at for this channel 4 years ago. My goodness, how time flies. And so yeah, I was definitely super excited to come out here. And then just down the way lies a Furuichi store, which I featured on my Instagram account. So definitely check that out if that interests you. But anyhow, let's go ahead and walk inside here. And it's still like the same layout as when I visited 4 years ago, but this is like a lot of like the junk stuff. And the one curious thing about this store is that all the video game stuff, whether it's regular stock in the stacks like you see here, or if it's junk, it's all in this corner. In the actual junk section, which we will take a peek at the end of the video, you will see that there is actually no video games to be found because they have it all up here. But here we have our Switch titles, and I looked through the Switch stuff. For sure, I'm always looking for those City Connection titles, as well as for the SNK Neo Geo Pocket Color Selection. I want Volume 1 and 2 because online and at other major video game stores, those two titles are expensive. And I have a feeling that it might be the same deal with like the SNK collection that was recently released for the Nintendo Switch. But we'll see how that pans out. But anyhow, we got some PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PS3, and then this beautiful game, Sega Rally Revo. Absolutely love this title. Don't sleep on that one. If you have a chance, you definitely need to play that game. Absolutely love it. As well as the PSP version. That might be as I mentioned before, my favorite iteration of that game. But there is PSP titles here. And also Xbox and Xbox 360. And here we have Blue Dragon. I never played this one, and I wonder how it fared. I know Akira Toriyama did the character design on that one. And then we have some Virtual On Cyber Troopers. And this is a title that I'm definitely curious about. And as far as I know, I think it's exclusive to the 360 and perhaps the PlayStation 4, if I'm not mistaken. Here we have some Mech Assault action. But I do like looking through these original Xbox titles because I am collecting. Here's Maximum Chase. This is actually a fun game with some cheesy acting, but it's definitely a fun one. And it even has like these shooting sequences, these car chase sequences, but a great little arcade type of game. Definitely one that I recommend if you're into that kind of mindless gameplay. What else do we have? Oh, here we have the Hori arcade stick. Now, this is the first iteration of it. I believe there's like 5 generations of it, but this first one, absolutely love that thing. I have 2, and that's actually one of the colors that I have, that transparent blue. Here we have the Departed on UMD video. Do you guys collect UMD video? I have a small collection, and it's more of a novelty thing. But there is, and a lot of those UMD films do have full English language. And then here we have the Tales PS3 for 11 thou. Not too bad of a price there. And then a variety of Nintendo Switches. Now, before, when I was here 4 years ago, man, this thing was loaded with all sorts of retro hardware. I think I remember seeing a PC Engine GT for like 20,000, as well as a Neo Geo AES. But those times are long and gone. But you just never know what you'll find. Here we got some N64 controllers. And if I'm being honest, I actually didn't pick anything up at this location just because there was nothing that really caught my eye. But there were a few interesting things that may interest quite a few of you. And that was Sonic Adventure 2 there for the Cube. It was missing the slipcover, unfortunately. But $16.50, that's not all that bad of a price. And then just an assortment of Famicom titles there. And if you really dig through these carts, there might be some little hidden treasures amongst the peg hooks there. But that definitely takes time. I mean, some people are pretty quick in browsing through that. But when you're filming, that could add quite a bit of time to the video length. But here we go. We got some Super Famicom. Now, there was one title here that that was definitely interesting, and it's going to be this Humans Grand Prix 2. I should have picked this up. That price isn't all that bad. And I do like that it has like that Mode 7 effect and that it's full screen. And I do love my racers. And that's the thing, you know, sometimes when I'm filming, I forget. Just because I plan so many, I try to plan to visit like at least 2 to 3 stores during an outing, sometimes more. But in this particular occasion, I got to Kyoto like around 3 o'clock, which, you know, I spent the morning dealing with a change of accommodation. So, but anyhow, let's see what else we got. And remember, look up top. Look at that. You're going to have to ask for some assistance to get way up there. But here we have the Mad Catz Super Street Fighter 4 stick. And I wonder if this Tekken 6... I remember in the States, at least when Tekken 6 was released, one of the limited editions included a wireless arcade stick. And I'm definitely curious about that wireless arcade stick. I wonder if it's any good. And what do we have here? The Core Graphics 2. Look at that price. And I actually do have a Core Graphics 2, and I prefer it, at least the color scheme and the design over the original Core Graphics. Always nice to see the 1S. That's a really beautiful system. Look at that thing. So stylish, so sleek. And then we have a disc system, but for $22,000, now this thing is working, but I mean, I believe I also went to Surugaya in the middle of Kyoto, and in the, you know, where all the tourists kind of hang out. And I'm gonna feature that in the next episode. And there was a disc system there for a very, very reasonable price in the junk section, but usually you just have to replace the belt on those things, and they're good to go. But here we have a PlayStation Vita 2000 series with a couple of Vita TVs. The 2DS, now the transparent 2DS, it's pretty sleek looking. And then we have an XL in the back there. I think that was the Minecraft edition for $22,000, and that's definitely a lot lower than what you could expect to see like at the book off in Namba. I believe down there they have it for like about 45,000 yen. So that's a huge chunk of change. And then we have the Rockman World games. I have a few of these complete in the box, but the boxes that I have are they're pretty rough. But I'm not going to be looking to replace those because, you know, sometimes playing the old Game Boy is it's just more of it's a fun experience, but I don't take it all that serious. But I guess I do game quite often on it, just because I'm out here in Osaka. But what is that? Xanax for the disc system, and then we have Area 88. Just an assortment of titles here. And then what do we have here? We have Kirby and Rockman X. Now that price there for $3,000, but I believe like the box is messed up a little bit, and I believe it's missing the manual there. And they also had a Mega Man X3 for a very reasonable price, but it was missing like the blister where the cartridge rests, as well as the manual, unfortunately. But that one had me thinking, you know, because X3 even in Japan complete in the box it can be a pricey title. And then we have Super Adventure Island 2, which I believe that one has a few RPG elements. We got Rockman 2 for $27.50. Pretty cool game with nice tunes. What else do we have here? We have Capcom versus SNK, and that's next to Sonic 2 for the old Game Gear. And then and there it is, Rockman X3. Look at that price, 4,400 yen, missing the manual and the blister, and the box is a little bit warped, but you know. And then we have Street Fighter 02 for 3,300 yen. Super happy with that pickup that I got last week or a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to see when they have it kind of hanging like that, but sometimes space is super limited. But anyhow, here we have our Sega Saturn titles with one Super CD ROM arcade ROM. Now I do have this game, World Heroes 2, and I actually do enjoy it for the old PC Engine. Then we have Parodius, which I do have that, and I picked it up not too long ago, but I wasn't able to fully enjoy it because I had to make my way out here to Osaka. And then Alien, that Alien trilogy game, that is a fun game, especially if you like those old school shooters. And then Sega Touring Car. Now this is a tragedy. The control and the frame rate in that game, my goodness, it just leaves so much to be desired. But by contrast, this game is great. Daytona USA Circuit Edition, which I believe has some small differences from the vanilla release in the US. And here we have our PlayStation 1 and Sega Dreamcast. Look at that, Allen Iverson, NBA 2K. Man, that is old school. And then we have Guilty Gear X. This is a great game. I do enjoy that game. And then Virtua Tennis or Power Smash. This one was also good. And that game, Virtua Tennis, I actually won it from one of Sega's monthly drawings way back when the Dreamcast was in store shelves, brand new. That was a pretty cool thing. And then look at this, Dead or Alive 2. This has a different cover, and it's far more expensive than the other one, but I'm not really sure on the differences there. But we have Soul Calibur, Zombie Revenge, so the Dreamcast selection isn't all that bad. Capcom versus SNK 2. A very small selection, and then we have the PS1 books, Dracula X Symphony of the Night here. Now, that one was about 8,000, and I think the tag just said that it had, like, the disc had a few light scratches. But man, for the collector, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that thing was tempting, but I ain't gonna double dip. In fact, I already have double dipped. I have it for the PSP, the PS4. I have the PlayStation 1, both the Japanese and the US editions, and I have it for the Sega Saturn. It's ridiculous. Not really sure what that's about, but kind of an interesting title. I got some pachinko or fever something. But yeah, the PlayStation 2. Last time I was here, I remember I picked up Capcom's Fighting Jam and Metal Slug 3, the standalone release. But unfortunately, there was nothing really there that really caught my attention, which is probably a good thing because I honestly don't want to make too many pickups. Because when I head back home, you know, I'm going to be taking the Shinkansen, and it definitely adds to the load. And then look at this pinkish Dreamcast. I wonder what the deal is there. And then we have a Sega Saturn there. That's not too bad of a price. Now this is like the junk stuff, and the way you can tell is because of the green tag. And then it just kind of, you know, the tag will just kind of say what the issue is more or less. But here we have some disc systems for 3,000 yen before sales tax. Now, I'm not really sure if this store is tax-free. Now, Furuichi down the street is tax-free, but in this neighborhood, you don't see all that many tourists just because they're kind of skipping it over, just moving between the trendy areas of Kyoto. And then we have a top loader there, which was badly sunburnt. And then the PS2 Slim. Love that thing. And they did have a pink one. In fact, we're going to take a look at that bad boy and look at the price on it. 5,500 yen. But it had a glaring issue, which you will see here shortly. If it didn't have that issue, I probably would have picked that thing up just because I'm not really a fan of pink in general, but it's a little bit of a one-of-a-kind piece. And this one is all glossy all around, but as you can see there, it's missing the memory card door, which isn't too bad. But, you know, for that price, I don't know. But this, it's all, look at that shiny finish, that sheen to it. And typically, the other one that I've seen doesn't have that sheen. So I wonder if, and I guess that's because that's a 77,000 model, and I believe the one previous to that could have been a 75,000. So maybe they changed the shell up a bit. But here we go. Let's see what else we got. In fact, this is where we're going to head out to the junk section so you guys can see. And guys, this is just like a raw feed again. You know, sometimes I point the camera down just because there's people shopping there. And I'm not trying to make people uncomfortable and whatnot with my big old camera. Oh, I should have taken a look at the vinyl and the laser discs. I do like collecting laser. Actually, no, I'm glad I didn't. I probably would have picked up some laser discs, and that would have just added to the frenzy when it's time to go home. But here we go. What do we have in here? We got a Discman. Look at this. 16,500 yen. Man, I want one, but at that price. Especially like the early Discmans, those things are like up to like 40,000 or more, especially if they're working. And then all sorts of like stereos and audio components. Look at all this stuff. VCRs, speakers. You know, and a lot of this stuff is very, very reasonably priced, you know, but it's just getting it home. And they do have old like graphics cards in there. You could probably build like an awesome Windows 98 PC. But guys, that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. Expect another one at the Surugaya in the coming days. So stay tuned for that. Ciao.